Steve Magnante here at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with a C4 Corvette. These are the entry-level Corvettes of today, and in fact, these are bargains. Great cars. I had an 85 and I loved it. Now keep in mind that 1984, when the Corvette launched on the scene, the C4, it really brought Corvette into a world-class level. Gone with the stamped steel upper control arms and a lot of the antiquated parts found on the C3 going back to 62 and thereabouts. But these things brought in a whole new age of materials, and it starts under the hood. Of course, the clamshell hood is a classic item right here. One piece, by the way, and very reliable. The headlights fold up and down. They're generally regarded as being extremely reliable. These work just fine. Electric motors do the job. But the most important thing is the suspension on the C4. For the first time, Corvette had forged aluminum upper and lower control arms. We see them here between the wheel and the inner liner. And that was exotic stuff. Ferrari had that sort of stuff in this point in time, and so too did Corvette. The engine is a work of art. This, of course, is the Tune Port injected 350. And these are ram-tuned, the runners here and the plenum. This actually creates a little bit of a supercharging effect right around 2,900 RPM to help this thing make 330 foot-pounds of torque. This one is an automatic with the 700 R4 overdrive, which means you get a nice 306, I think, first gear, a good launch. And on the open road, 0.7 is your overdrive ratio, so you're cruising along at 1,600 RPM, getting close to 23 miles to the gallon easily with one of these things. So you have your cake and eat it too. They run hard, they get good fuel economy, and they handle wonderfully. Big, fat, wide tires. Now this one here is a Z52, which means that it has the 17 by 9.5 inch wheels versus the 16 by 8 inch wheels on a base Corvette. Z52 is a slightly softer version of the Z51, which is a pretty stiff riding car. But again, the 17 inch wheels on this are correct. They're original to the car, part of the Z52, better handling package. And again, just well preserved under the hood, has air conditioning, of course, as they all did, a new alternator, and just, you know, well preserved under the hood. No custom stuff, no headers, no cold air kit, nothing like that. Never been messed with, which is a nice thing. It does have the optional translucent roof panel. There was a base body colored piece, which was split in the middle, actually two-piece item, but this is the one piece, or the one you want. Take this off on a sunny day, and it's almost like a convertible. The centrally mounted high stoplight in its, I believe, second year, 86, 87, 88. There it is right there, a safety factor. And inside, let's pop the doors and have a look. Very original. Here's the automatic, the 700 R4, and it's very original, right down to this. This is the cassette tape that introduced you to your new Corvette back when you bought it new. And this would fit into the Delco Bose tape player right here. And this does have the Bose upgrade stereo, which is quite an expensive item. Digital dashboard, of course, still works just fine here. And like all C4 coupes, we pop the little button right here, and the hatch opens up. And the crazy thing is, as we all know, 1976 through 1980, Corvettes had this bubble rear window. It never opened until you get into the 1982 Collector Series. But all C4s, it works, and you can put your groceries back here. But it's really well preserved back here. The Delco Bose speaker is still in place. And the original, here's the original build sheet right here, which tells us the options the car was built with way back when. It was sent to a New Hampshire dealership. An original sticker was $34,213 in 1988. And this kind of stuff is really, really nice to have, whether you're talking about a vintage Corvette or one like this. And this item here is very important. This is the tool with the little star socket here, and this is how you remove the translucent roof panel. Now the panel itself is actually a structural member to the car, and when you remove it with that tool, the car creaks a little bit more, but it was the way of Corvette getting the rigidity of a coupe and the open air enjoyment of a roadster. So really an advanced car in its day. Very original here. It's nice to see that it hasn't been much change of color. The rear fascia is made of sort of an injection molded urethane, whereas the body is SMC, sheet molded compound, and often these things fade at different rates. but this one's still nicely matched for a basically original paint car. Dual exhaust out the back, catalytic converter still in place, independent rear suspension, of course, with a transverse plastic leaf spring, which was part of the story on all of the C4 Corvettes. So a great example of an entry-level Corvette. If you ever always wanted to buy a Corvette but didn't want to break the bank, this might be the car for you. Now, the great thing is that this car can be financed, as are all vehicles here at High Octane Classics, with as little as 10% down. They'll also deliver the car to your workplace, your office, your school, whatever you want. And they do consider trades. Late models, classics, motorcycles, it's all quite possible. And keep in mind, if you like cars and maybe want to make this your career, High Octane Classics is looking for sales and service professionals. So give them a call at 508-859-4515 to maybe join the team, or if nothing else, buy yourself a cool '88 Corvette. To learn more about this particular car, go to the High Octane Classics website.